Hello and good morning, good afternoon and good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to this episode of Inspiring Conversations. And just as always, just let's remind ourselves why Inspiring Conversations are here. Inspiring Conversation, it's all about creating conversations that really matter. We are diving into ways to connect deeply, break down barriers, and build moments that inspire trust and growth. Whether it's with your team or work or in your everyday chats, we will bring more positivity, realness, and impact into every conversation. With that said, my guest is from the US, and maybe I should tell you where I'm at before I continue, because I'm still on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula, and my view is this beautiful mountain, Kirkjufell, which was featured in the season 5 of Game of Thrones. So now you know where to look, and then now we can talk about our guest, because he has written a book called Raving Referrals, and the topic today is something that, well, I dreaded it. I think many of you out there, they think like, how do we sell ourselves in a positive way and stuff? Because selling something, well, of course we believe in our stuff, but getting the customers, that is a total different story. Hello and good morning, Mr. Barnum. I can hear your keyboard hammering, so try to speak.
My sound is not working, Heaton. I'm going to have to reboot my computer.
All right, because I can hear you when you speak.
I cannot hear you. I'll be right back.
Aha.
I'll be right back.
Well, then you are forgiven. So you just go out and connect again. So this is the beauty of the technology. While Brandon is doing his stuff, then I can talk to you about and tell you about the International Week of Happiness at Work. By last 1st of June, I was graciously handed over the control of the International Week of Happiness at Work, and that means that I'm taking over like the scheduling or whatnot. So if you go to internationalweekofhappinessatwork.com, then you can see what is going on there, and you can just you can look at the stuff that has been done since 2018. This is an effort made by 2 ladies from the Netherlands, Fernand and Martje, and they are brilliant, but they have turned their noses to another stuff. So I took over, and I am happy to step into their footsteps, because happiness at work is something that is important. We can call it whatever we like, but happiness is one of them, and happiness at work can be the main theme. How you perceive it, how leaders perceive it, must be something that we strive for, because why are we hiring people if we don't want them to feel good at work? We call it lots of, we have many names for it, sorry. We have well being, we have joy, we have so many things that we can put under this happiness at work idea, that how you do it is exciting. But the main thing is you have to have it on the agenda in some sort of a way, because nowadays we need some happiness. We need some joy. We more than ever are stressed out, anxiety. We don't know what the future holds for us. So, but that is a totally different story, because then the social media comes into that debate. So, please do check the website International Week of Happiness at Work.com and take a look and decide if that is something for you to explore. And then some other initiatives will follow in the autumn. So we need to participate in this. And there he is. I love your crown, Mr. Brandon.
Hello, my friend. I'm so sorry about my technical difficulties, but I'm so glad to be here with you.
Well, I never thought a man could have technical difficulty. It's your own fault. You could have been here 5 minutes before.
Yes,
But
I
let's
know I
start.
had some challenges here. Apologies.
Yes, but let's start. You are here. That's the main thing. And I have to congratulate you on your crown, because it goes well with your head.
Yeah, thank you. I see we match there.
I'm just, what is it that says? Unity through
Through community.
community.
That's
Ah,
right.
this is brilliant. So let's go there. Why is it unity through community?
Well, we're on a mission to really connect communities and to help people know their neighbors and to really do life with the people that they live around. One of the things that we're doing at my company, HOA.com, is we're creating like a match.com for friends so that people get connected to other people in their neighborhoods that share
Yeah,
their same interests and values. And that way we connect them in things that they like to do. And now they start to build friendships.
yeah, okay. Is it just me, or is your feet frozen? Or I can hear you, but now that like you are a very happy guy. Is it?
Yeah, let me let me turn my camera off and back on, and let's see if that fixes it.
Yeah. So this is this will be a fun interview if we don't have any problems.
If my computer would cooperate, it would be great, wouldn't it?
Yes.
And now my camera's not coming back on. Interesting. Okay.
Why is it that, is your computer against Icelandic people, or what? Like,
I
should I
don't
be
know. I
should I
just
be offended, or?
you should not be offended, no, sir. I just rebooted everything. I'm gonna pop out and I'll pop back on and see if that fixes it. I'll be right back.
Ah, okay.
All right.
So this is the best start to an interview ever. What's happening? This is fun. But feel free, if you're out there, feel free to participate via LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. And here we have him again. Yes, thank you. And Oh, one thing before we continue. Please don't say sir to me. I feel like we are
Okay.
very basic. Like it's just I know that it is a tradition in the US and England and whatnot, but here we are just like, hi Brandon. It's nothing like we are just
You
polite
got
to each other without saying sir or your highness or whatnot.
you
So,
got
but Brandon, finally, now we can start. And I can see that you have moved your chair a little bit lower.
it. Yeah, a little bit.
But it's a great slogan: unity through community.
Well, here's one of
And
the other things and why we're on such a mission. If you look at the word community, unity is in the word. And the word community really means come together as one. And so that's
yeah,
the mission that we're on is to bring everybody together. It's really about unity.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
brilliant. But that is like the abbreviation that you mentioned, HOB, wasn't it?
HOA, yeah, HOA.com. So HOA.com for in the United States, that stands for Homeowner Association. And over
Yeah.
half of all Americans who own a home live in a homeowner association. And it's kind of like a little government ruled by the people that live in that homeowner association. All the neighbors come together, and that group then oversees the activities, the events, the resources, how the money is allocated within that community for the betterment of everyone.
So everyone has to be in agreement when they want to do something extra or paint. They can't paint their houses pink if they
Correct.
want to.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Yeah. So there's a common set of rules for the neighborhood. And when somebody buys a home in that neighborhood, they agree to abide by those rules. And so if they want to paint their house, there is a group of colors that are already chosen, a palette of colors that are pre
Ah.
approved by the HOA. And so they have to submit a request if they're going to paint their home, if they're going to do a major project, then they submit an architectural request and the HOA approves it so that the community looks nice for everyone.
So, because you said that, is this US only? Like, do you know of it anywhere else? Because as there are so many things that you say only in America.
Yeah, this is one of those. This is one of those.
Yeah.
Currently, it's only in the U.S., but I was meeting with the CEO of Remax not long ago, and the senior vice president as well, and they were talking about the fact that Remax is a global organization. They said we
Yeah,
love
yeah.
this concept of unity through community, and we'd love to take that worldwide. So we're looking at expanding how homeowner associations operate. We actually started the company as the Homeowner Alliance, connecting homeowners together so that they have more power together as one.
Well, yes, but that is not the topic today. But I
No,
want
it's
to,
about relationships, right?
yes, but speaking of relationships and stuff, I want to give a shout out to Aishwarya. She's from India, and she says hello, Hedin and Brandon, sir. So again, and then my good friend David Pushkin, who I I learned I like we met on LinkedIn like 5 years ago, so he has become a great friend. And he
Yeah.
said, and he is always waiting for me to say something because sometimes I hear stuff that is maybe not quite right. So he is laughing about Your Highness. So he is looking forward to the conversation. And then I, Aishwarya, she says, hello, David, sir. So, like, people are just communicating here in, like, back and forth. So that's good. But the reason, uh, Brandon, is Raving Referrals
Right.
and the proven step-by-step system to attract profitable prospects. This must be something that we all dread, like at some point in our life, because when we get into this entrepreneurship, we are always like, oh, the worst thing. It's always like, how am I going to sell myself? Because it's it sounds awful that you're going to sell yourself, but it's just how maybe I'm also forgetting that I want you to go through your life, but keep
Sure.
that in mind and start like, why are you like, how did it come, what happened, like why did you write this book, and your
Yeah.
journey in like take
I'm happy to
5 minutes.
start there, but I think we should start with what you just said. So many people
Yeah.
that are entrepreneurs, they feel uncomfortable selling themselves. And you know what the best way to sell yourself is? To have somebody else do it. When someone else recommends you and they refer you and they say, you've got to call ahead and have a conversation with him, he can solve your challenge. Those people are 400% more likely to hire you because of the trust that gets transferred from the other person recommending you to the person that needs your services. And so what we do is we teach people how to really formalize referral partnerships, get your clients, your customers, and also complementary businesses and professionals promoting you, selling your services so you don't have to as much. So that's really what we're talking about when we talk about raving referrals.
Well, and that was the introduction and the conversation today. Thank you. Why, if it sounds so simple, why don't we do it? Why haven't we discovered this ages ago?
It's a great question. It blows my mind. I was just meeting with a dean of a business school of a major university here in Arizona, where I live. And I said, I've got a business degree. And in 4 years of college, never once did I hear the word referral. I said, I want to know, in your marketing program, are you teaching referrals? And he looked at me and he just sat there for a second. We were having lunch and he said, we're not teaching referrals at all. And I said, how is it when you consider the fact that for business to business professionals, people that sell to businesses and business owners, 84% of business to business sales start with a referral. So if you're not working by referral, you're not closing the kind of clients and business that you want. And it's not taught at any level. So that's part of why I'm on a mission. And that's what led me to write the book.
Well, lucky you and lucky us. So and great that we found each other, because this just blows my mind. Well, because if there was something that I dreaded, and my wife, she's also in this, like we are both new in this business of being entrepreneurs, and the question always gets back to, okay, now we have to sell ourselves or sell
Right.
our products.
Right.
So, but take a little bit of journey of why and what and why, like what have you been doing in your life?
Sure. My
So
pleasure.
so so like just who is Brandon and what led you to writing that book? Because you have 3 others or 4 others with the same name, but focusing on
Well,
yes,
focusing
yes,
on
yes,
different industries. Yeah, definitely.
yes.
So my backstory, my origin story, if you will, I got started in college. I was going to school for marketing, and I found out you don't have to be married to have a child. And so I had a kid in college, and at 22, I was a dad, and at 24, I had sole custody. I was a single father, and so all of a
Oh,
sudden, I had all the financial responsibility of not only taking care of myself, which at 24, you're pretty
uh-huh.
self-absorbed. Now I'm responsible for this other little human being. And so
Yes.
I wasn't making enough money. I was making $20,000 US per year at that point. And once I got custody, I had to pay for daycare and I couldn't afford to make my mortgage payment and the daycare payment. So I started bouncing my checks and I said, I got to make a change. I've got to do something different. I ended up getting into the mortgage industry, financing real estate. And what happened was I had somebody mentor me in the art and science of what I now call raving referrals. And he helped me, or the information helped me 10x my income in 18 months. So I went from $20,000 and within 18 months, I had earned $200,000 that year. And so that really just opened my eyes. It opened my mind. I ended up staying in the mortgage industry for 12 years, before getting out in 2009. And ever since then, I've been building technology companies to help people really build their business by referral. My last platform was called Refer.com. We built that up to 5 million members, and we sold that company in 2019. And I started the Homeowner Alliance with the objective of connecting professionals who serve homeowners. So that was the whole idea, is let's create a referral network exclusively with the realtors, the painters, the plumbers, the mortgage lenders, all of the people who serve homeowners, because that doesn't exist. And so that's how we started this company.
So it's probably what, 5-ish years since you did that.
Yeah.
But how and hopefully, like, you get your son. Was it a boy?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So hopefully he's grown and knows stuff about how to make business for himself and stuff. But did you struggle, or it's never easy? Even like you make it sound so easy, going from 20,000 a year, and then all of a sudden you are making 200,000 a year. Was it 24 hours, 24/7 work, or did you have, like, how sometimes when people are telling these numbers, and I don't know if it's the Americans or the English or whatnot or where not, it's always like, we are going to teach you, and like it's like they are showing some balls, right? They're like, yeah, I will show you, I will take you from 10,000 to $1 million in and you are just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's hard to believe. So the effort, the 18 months, wasn't it 18 months from 20,000? Yeah. So how was it? Like, did you sleep at all?
Yeah, of course I slept, but it's also about working smarter than harder. I now had a system. I knew I had a plan. I understood what it would take to build a business, and they call it building a business for a reason, because you do have to build a business. It does take time and energy and money and resources and all of that. But what I found was, for the people that were doing the best in the mortgage industry, all of their business came by referral. It all came either from realtors, financial planners, attorneys, accountants, or contractors that were building homes. And so what I knew is that I didn't want to sell myself. I wanted to solve people's problems. And that's the key to generating referrals. I say, take your mindset and go from thinking about selling yourself to just serving people. And the reason that people refer you is because they see you as the solution to a challenge for their client, their customer, their friend, their family member. So what you want to do is package yourself in a way where you're solving people's problems, and identify the people who have clients and customers who have the challenges that you can solve. And if you partner with them and you become the solution to their people's challenges, now all of a sudden they're sending you business consistently.
But how is it when you, at that, like, okay, you got lucky because you got into and you met the right person, and that is also a key. What is it when, if people are, like, or how is your take on that? If a person who may be struggling for 2 years, 3 years, is that because they don't meet the right people, or they don't, like, how do you meet the one? Where do I find Brandon today that could help? Like, if I was 25-year-old and I need Brandon, how do I get in contact with that person? Because now you probably have like squillion people or million, billion people around
Squillion,
you.
that's a new one. I hadn't heard that one before.
Yeah, that's the astronomical money value. Then when we talk in Icelandic, it's just like,
it's
when
squillion.
When we can't say any words, that we don't even know how to, like, count the zeros.
Yeah. Well, so to answer your question, I think mentorship is super important. Now, these days, you can find mentorship online. You can find coaches, consultants, or really, I always look for people that are where I want to be. And They know the path. They know what it takes. So you want to find those people and add value to them. For the last 24 years, my personal mentor has been a man named Mark Victor Hansen. He wrote all those Chicken Soup for the Soul books. So he sold over 600 million books. But this man has made a huge difference to me. Now, I was introduced to him by a mutual friend of ours, and I hired him to come speak at a charity fundraising event. And once I met him, then I did everything that I could to add value to him so that he would be willing to mentor me. And I listened to his coaching, and part of his coaching was to ask for what you want. In fact, his latest book is called Ask. The bridge from your dreams to your destiny. So Mark has been mentoring me about the importance of asking for what it is that you want in a way that seems natural, authentic, and it serves everyone. And I think that's part of the key to success.
Yeah. So back to the discussion with the dean or with the business school discussion,
Yeah.
because Aishwarya, she says maybe like back then we did not have any digital world as nowadays, and could that be a reason, or like were we better before digital world or social media? Like are we like is it a hindrance in a somewhat way, like because young people today their head is not forward, it is downward, so like how can we teach them that it's okay to talk to people? Because what you are saying, and we, the older ones, although we are just 29ish, we understand the value of face-to-face discussion.
That's right.
And not being afraid of, as you mentioned, to ask, okay, I have this problem, because like if you break a leg, you wouldn't hesitate to like, oh, help me, I have a broken leg. You know, you have to reach out. So is that a problem, or like, are you going to teach this, or are you like, how can we implement this stuff? Because there are so many things. Like my kids, they are 24, and they are
Yep.
just like, when I tell them to do stuff, they are just like, huh? They find me really weird. What?
Yeah.
Why should I call? Well, I just sent them an email, or I just sent them a TikTok or whatever. So, what is your take on that?
Well, I think it's interesting. I think it's a great question. Number one, I think that it really comes down to leadership. I have three kids. My oldest son is now 32. He actually works for me at HOA.com, so I get to talk to him pretty much every day, which is amazing. But I would say that all three of my kids know how to talk to people. Now, part of that is that I've taught them how to talk to people. And when my daughter was young, she had a challenge making friends. And so I said, all you need to do is go up to them and say, hi, my name's Ella. What's your name? Right. And so at 4 years old, I was teaching her how to start having conversations and be a friend, and just being willing, being confident enough to start a conversation. Most people typically are open to conversation, and some people are introverts and they kind of get exhausted talking to people, where others get excited talking to people. So part of it is personality science too. I teach a system called bank code, which helps you understand who your prospects and people are, so that you really get to know them, and now you can work with them more effectively. And once you understand how people are wired, how their personalities are designed by God, it gives you instant empathy into understanding how to really converse and communicate with them.
How is Aishwarya? She's saying like trust is a key in building firm, building firm business foundation, as
Right.
in like as David Pushkin says, people buy from those they know, like, and trust. So how much is that in the in this world of
It's the key to everything. No,
yeah
what Aishwarya and David are talking about is absolutely right. Trust is the key. Now, how do you manufacture trust? How do you actually build trust? And what we're doing is we're building trust at scale, meaning we have a company, and we've created a certification program to help people go through so they become an expert in HOAs that helps elevate their expert authority so people trust them faster. And so one of the things that you want to do, not in the one-on-one conversations, which is what we've been talking about, but now if you're looking to brand and position your company, it's how do you elevate that expert authority? How do you create credibility for yourself, for your company? And some of the time that's through certifications, some of that time that's through associations. Right? Mark Victor Hansen has introduced me to incredible connections, people that I wouldn't have had access to otherwise, where now I'm connected to these global thought leaders, these game changers, these captains of enterprise. And so one of the things that we teach in the Raving Referral system is to influence influencers. And this is an example. You've invited me onto your show, and I'm so grateful to be here. And by doing this, it's helping us both, right? Because number one, you've got some hopefully entertaining, informative content that's going to make a difference to your listeners. And number
Yeah.
two, you're exposing me to the people that are in your world, and I'm doing the same for you. So this is what Mark Victor Hansen taught me, which is 1 + 1 = 11. That's the leverage factor. And that's the power of Raving Referrals. When you partner with other people who are serving your perfect prospects every day, you are presenting the solution to the challenges that they face. Now you're working together where a client for one can become a client for everyone.
So, in a sense, because Rab Bassi, yet another one from the UK, he's an avid participant in these conversations. He says, Brandon, in selling within a referral network, is selling within a referral network not limiting your opportunity to reach a wider audience? But I guess that you just answered it yourself, because 1 + 1 is 11.
11.
So when you,
Rob
so
may
you,
be referring
yeah,
to some exclusive referral networks like a BNI, for example. Now, Ivan Meisner wrote the foreword for my latest book, so I'm so grateful. Ivan is the creator of BNI, Business Networking International. They do an amazing job. So there are some local referral networks like a BNI where they have exclusivity. They only allow one real estate agent, one insurance agent for the group. So in those circumstances, you're really committing to create a company and grow your business with a core group of people. And there's nothing wrong with that. Does that limit your ability? No, you're committed to these people, but you can certainly build additional referral partnerships outside of that group.
and of course, when you get like 10 people, you work with those 10 people, then they have 10 people around them, and then it must, like the ripple effect must also be there. Rabassi, I have to tell you, Rabassi is somewhat of a humorist, and he says squillion is because I can't count. So I'm not sure that is the case, but I will show you an Icelandic number when we talk about salary and stuff, then you can say. But the servant leadership, like this, being a servant, because servant leadership was a thing, and I should, in my mind, it should be that you go a certain lengths in being a good leader by serving others. So,
Absolutely.
like David Pushkin says, servant and solution led leadership win every time. So where is it that you, in your referral, like when you wrote the book and you started this thing, because you must have hit a nerve, like you must have gotten, like people must have flocked to you, like, oh, I want to sell, I want to sell, I want to do this, I want to do this. So any like success stories or anything that you have, you encountered some people that you just, yeah, you were doing great, but you could tweak this a little bit, or you were just looking at a case and then just like, no, like,
Yeah. Yeah,
you
let's
know,
talk about servant leadership for a second,
yeah,
because
yeah.
one of the chapters in the book is about becoming a charity champion. It's about being a leader. It's really exemplifying the impact that you're making. 84% of consumers say they want to know what the companies that they're buying from are doing to make a difference in their
Yeah.
local community and in the world. And so I talk about and teach how to be a charity champion. Find a charity or a cause that you're passionate about and start sharing the story of what they're doing. Just last night, I was at an event with a charity called Girls Rule, the Girls Rule Foundation. And I love this group, led by a friend of mine. We're in a mastermind group together. But what they do, and I should say we, because I've come alongside and I'm helping the organization, is we teach leadership, confidence, and financial security to teen girls, right, that don't normally have access to this information. And so we just had a conference 6 weeks ago. We had 100 girls in a high school gym for 4 hours where we were teaching them leadership and confidence. We brought in 20 different mentors, women that they could talk to and hear from to learn about different businesses. We taught them how much money each of the major industries that they're considering going into, because these are high school girls. They haven't yet decided if they're going into college or what profession they're going to pursue. And now what we did is we showed them, here's the money, right? If you want to be a nurse, here's the income range that you can expect. Here's the lifestyle that comes alongside of that. Now, why did I do that? I did it because I love being in this conversation of impact. That's what it's all about for me, is unity through community. And teen girls is one of the ways that we can help change communities. What do I get out of it? First of all, I just get fulfillment and satisfaction. It feels great to make a difference in the lives of others. However, I also tell that story with my community, with our clients and customers. I give that as an example. And I'm on a mission to help start Girls Rule Foundation chapters all across the US and, quite frankly, around the world. Because as we start to empower and equip our younger generation, especially teen girls, now they've got a bigger vision for what's possible in their life. How does that benefit me as a business owner? Quite frankly, I don't care if it does, but it does, because I get known for making a difference, for caring about the community, and people choose to do business with me because they know my heart. They know that I'm not just about the income, it's more
Mhm.
about impact.
But you speak also as a father of a girl,
Yes.
because that is also the thing. Like, I have twins, boy and a girl, and
Okay.
it's always assumed that the boy will just skyrocket into something, whereas the girl always, like, and me and her mother, we had to say to her every single day, you can do whatever you like. But
Amen.
the society, the patriarchy, or whatnot, how the system is building, we need, like here in Iceland, now we have a female president, we have a female prime minister, we have a female bishop, we have a female, like, this is just a thing that we are all equal in some ways, and we have to give them confidence, because there is something about us boys that we are just like, ugh, but we tend not to think before we act. But the girls, they think too much before they act. So there's a little difference. But so, and when have you met some of the, like, those girls? If we say that you have been doing this for X number of years, have you
Yeah.
met any girls later in life, and where they said, well, I listened to you, like, you made an impact? Like, did you get the response that you, like, sought after, or, like,
Yeah.
because it is also satisfying. We, like, I have been working with youth, teenage youth, in youth clubs and stuff, and seeing them grow and prosper, and, like, being a grandfather to all the kids out there, like,
Yeah.
because they and I'm so happy when they do well.
Right. Right.
So have you met any girl or a lady
Yeah.
or
So
a young woman today?
Yeah, absolutely. So at this conference that we did 6 weeks ago, it was amazing because we had some girls that had gone to the Girls Rule summer camp 5, 6 years ago, and they went from a teenager and now they're a mom or they're in business. They've, graduated from college in some cases. And so to hear the stories of these now women who have come back after going through the Girls Rule program and hearing
Yeah.
that story of transformation and what was real was that they were impacted because it gave them insight, it gave them hope, it gave them inspiration, and it gave them information that they were able to take to move forward and improve their lives. And that's what it's all about. Now, for me personally, I'm in a mentorship program. I always believe that you should be mentored and you should also be mentoring the next generation. So here in the US, we have another nonprofit organization called Big Brothers, Big Sisters. So I'm a big I'm a big brother. What that means is that I started mentoring a young boy. He was 14 years old, just starting high school. And so for the last 3 years, I've been personally mentoring him. We get together a couple times a month. I just saw him the other day. He's now, 6'1", so he's taller than I am. But it's been amazing to do life with this young man who doesn't know where he wants to go. He's trying to figure it out. And he watched his father get arrested at 4 years old. His dad is doing life in prison. So he doesn't have any male role models in his life. So for the last 3.5 years, I've been able to walk beside him. He's got a single mom who's got 2 other daughters, and he just needs mentorship. Last Friday, we were together all day at like a Comic-Con type event, and it was just super fun, just hearing what's going on in his life and helping him make decisions that are going to impact the rest of his life.
Uh, Deborah Heiser, I spoke to her in February. She is also in this mentorship business and teaching mentorship, how to
Mm.
mentor another person. So this is huge, and they have to have a role model. And now, like, time flies when you're having fun. Rab Bassi, he asked, Brandon, have you mentioned that you provided value to your coach so that he would invest in your journey.
Right.
Is there a specific technique you recommend to establish that initial trust? Is it do for so they can do for you? Yeah, do for
Yeah.
you so they can do for you, or anything else. I hope
Yeah.
this was
No, I get the question.
clear.
Great question, by the way, Rob. Absolutely. So this was one of the keys. When I picked up the phone to call Mark Victor Hansen and ask him to be my mentor, it was quite literally one of the scariest moments in my life. I had made it in my mind as this big thing that was bigger than it really was. But I called him up and I asked him to be my mentor. But before that, Rob, what I did was I found out the mission that he's on. Now, Mark Victor Hansen, pretty much all his life, he was mentored by Buckminster Fuller, who is just an amazing man. If you ever do research on Bucky Fuller, you'll see all about him. But I knew that Mark was on a mission to create a world that works for 100% of humanity. So the way that I showed up is I said, I want to do that too. I want to help create a world that works for 100% of humanity. Show me the way, Mark. How can I do that? How can I create more impact for more people? And, it's funny. I was just meeting with him a couple of months ago, and I was talking about some of the new programs that we've created. Like I run this Christian Business Alliance of believers in business, and we help small groups in churches, and we have 137 chapters in 24 countries, about 1,200 members. We started it a little over a year ago. And as I was telling Mark about this, he said, wow, what was your inspiration to do all this? And I said, Mark, you were. 24 years ago, we started down this journey of creating a world that works for 100% of humanity. And I said, quite frankly, I attribute so many of these ideas about being a charity champion, a community champion to you, Mark. So what I would say, Rob, is if you're looking for a coach, a mentor, a guide, somebody that is where you want to go, that what you want to do is find out what is their purpose, what is their passion, what is their mission, and how can you add value to them. When you make it about them and their mission, you show up differently because everybody else is asking for themselves.
Mhm.
So when you ask and offer to make a difference to them, you get their attention, and typically you'll get their cooperation and partnership.
I think that Mark Victor Hansen, he must be Scandinavian or something, because he has a very Nordic name. So I will.
Dutch. His family is Dutch.
That was not good. Sorry, Dutch people who are watching. Aishwarya, she says, Brandon, sir, the event you mentioned sounds like corporate responsibility program, making difference in communities in whatever way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, Brandon, because now you are from the US, and in the US, dream comes true and money is everything. Sometimes when Milton Friedman came, like, business of business is business.
Yeah.
How does that align with that you have unity through community? Because in my mind, a
Yeah.
business has to participate in their community. It's not only about profit or like how much can we get, how much can we take, because you have to give. So what is your take on today?
Yeah.
Like, we have grown up with this notion of like in the US, that business of business is business, and you have to get richer somehow. Like, it's never stop. Like, so what is it? How can these two things connect? Because unity through community, and that notion, that, like, it's just like it's not working together, is it?
Well, I think it is. I think back to the stats I was sharing earlier about what's called cause-related marketing. When we tie our marketing to a cause, to a mission, we start sharing about the impact that we create. I think we can elevate and transcend just focusing on the bottom line as being profit. What if we put people before profit? That's the way that I live. And
Yeah.
two nights ago, I was in a mastermind event. And I was having this conversation with somebody, and I was talking about the impact campaigns that we do at HOA.com. And he was just confused because he sat there and said, but how does that make you money? Because nobody's paying us for these services. I said, I'm not focused on the money, on the income from that activity. It's about the impact. Now, I know that we'll win the hearts and minds of people because of the goodwill that we're doing. And quite frankly, what I say is I want people to fall in love with our company because of the impact that we're making, and that will lead to the income that we desire. But as far as corporate governance, this isn't just a big business practice. This can be done for an individual, a solo practitioner, somebody that owns their own business. You just start sharing what you're passionate about, making a difference, and connect with real people in the real world. You make a real difference, and people will fall in love with your company, and they'll start recommending and referring you.
So in your mind, because I love this, like, people over money, or like that is also, but Rabasi, he loves the approach of strength in real socializing, because we have to think of the whole. We are in this together, and we only have one life, and we, as you say, you are a mentor to a 14-year-old, and then he has no male role model, and then he learns, and then he will give, and like it's just like pass the baton, or like whatever, how we would describe it. So, but because this school, no, this the talk to the girl group, that is a success story.
Yeah, girls rule. Yeah.
But do you have any where you just hit the wall, like where you were trying to open up people's mind and people were just like, "Oh, come off it, Brendan. You are just like la la la."
Well, listen, you're not going to attract everyone, and it's really about attracting your perfect prospect, the people that you resonate with. So if people don't get that, then they're not my people, and I don't worry about them. I'm still planting seeds because maybe they don't get it now. But if I plant enough seeds about the power of impact and making a change in people's lives, paying it forward, maybe they'll get it 1 year, 5 years, 10 years from now. That's not my job. My job is to be the best person that I can be, the best leader of my company and our community, and the rest just happens, I believe.
Aishwarya, she says that it's an interesting aspect to practice human side to business. And while I was reading that comment from Aishwarya, I was just like, is it unusual to talking with a guy from the US about the human matters over business? Like, is
I have
that
this conversation all the time.
am I like, do I have some like misjudging glasses on when it comes to a US and the business and the system in the US? Or
Possibly.
like, so
Possibly. Here's the reality is that all around the world, there's people that are givers. There's people that want to make a difference. And there's people that are takers. There's people that are just out for themselves. That's just how what's up, right?
uh,
I focus on creating the world that I want to live in, which is unity through community. How do we connect communities through real relationships in the real world? That's what I'm focused because that's the world that I want to live in. So, are there people that are profit first, Wall Street tycoons, and they don't care about people's lives? I suppose that's not what I focus on, and that's not who I attract into my life. Who I attract are game changers, like the people behind Girls Rule and Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and so many others. I have another partner I was just talking to yesterday who has a program called Generosity Feeds. And what they've done is they've got food providers that are donating food. And so literally we're just coordinating backpack events where we're filling backpacks with food and giving them to kids that don't have enough food. So there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of great work. And the question is, how do you attract them and align with them and then start telling that story so you attract more business yourself?
so bottom line, because now we have, like, time flies when you're having fun, Brandon.
I know, right?
It's just like, this is unbelievable discussion. So if people want to get into, like, would you say that you are aligned for the whole world in Raving Referrals, or is it
Yeah.
more like, have you encountered Europeans, for example? Because that's
Yeah.
the only thing I know.
Yeah.
Like, in my mind, you are just a top notch. You are a great guy because you, like,
Yeah.
somehow everything you say is just like, like, this is inspiring. So how do you, or have you, like, yes, have you encountered Europeans who say this is brilliant stuff, or do they say, oh, this is a little bit too American, like this is US minded or something?
I've never experienced that. Honestly, I've never experienced anyone that challenges anything that I teach because I'm just teaching human nature. I'm teaching what works in the
Ah,
real world, right? This is what I know works for me. I did over $500 million in real estate transactions by referral. I've served over 5 million people around the world, 195 countries, everywhere from Antarctica to Zimbabwe, A to Z. So I've seen this work over and over again. This is just fundamental truth that unfortunately they don't teach in college, they don't teach in university. And so people haven't been exposed to this. So that's part of my mission and why I said yes to your invitation to come on your show. And I'm so grateful that you invited me because I'm on a mission to inspire, up level, and impact every person on the planet. That's how I think, thanks to Mark Victor Hansen. 100% of humanity. When I see someone on the street, maybe they're asking for donations, if you will, I think, you know what? That includes them. Every single person is important to God, and so it's important to me. That's just how I live my life. But are there people that might think, oh, this is hogwash? I suppose, but I'm telling you, it's worked for me and it'll work
yeah.
for you.
Well, I think this conversation has inspired Aishwarya, because she says Brandon would like to connect and learn. The conversation was intriguing. As soon planning to publish my book in business communication. So
Cool.
well, you have
Excellent.
a little bit of connection to do that, and She continues to say, a long, lovely audience, was wonderful program. She like
Oh,
they are three, like they always check in when I have the
you've got
yeah,
fans
well,
there, and
yes, and they are
it's great.
like David and Rap, and I was like they are all my they are my influences. Like I enjoy people like that because that is just
That's great.
what gives life a meaning, isn't it? To get
It
in
is.
contact
It
with.
is. Yeah.
And I have yet to meet David, but I met Rab Bassi in London in May, and we were supposed to talk for an hour. We chatted for 2 hours, and we were just like blah, 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 blah. Because there
That's
is
great.
something about communication and then being together and being inspired. So
That's right.
my new mantra is just because when I was growing up, I don't know how it was with you, Brandon, because my father and my mother, they were always like, "Why are you so curious? Why?" And I was always
Hmm.
breaking things because I missed them. But that is a total different story. But now I get to be interested. I like, and this is my new mantra: be curious, interested, and be inspired. Because if
Love
I
it.
don't do this, I
Yes.
wouldn't meet a super guy like you. It's just like,
Well,
yeah,
it's a great way of living life. And I think be interested, especially, is so important because normally people go to networking events and all they do is they pitch slap people. They come out and they just start talking about themselves and their services and how they can help without listening and learning and being curious and being interested. So I teach be interested rather than
yeah.
interesting. Focus on the other person. What is it? Who are they? What are they out to achieve and accomplish? And oftentimes you can help them achieve and accomplish their objective. And when you do, they'll be indebted. And now you've got a potential partner.
And it's fun when people say, I have nothing to teach you. And I say, hey, you have
Yeah,
heaps because you have some experience that I don't have. Just let's
that's right.
talk. Let's
That's right.
let's see where this conversation go. So I hope that you have having like I hope you have had fun because this has been a brilliant conversation, Brandon.
Well, it's been fun for me. And to Ashwari's question about where can you find me, if you go to brandonbarnum.com, you'll find information about me, some of my programs, how I can help you. There's a calendar link so you can schedule a call, and I'm happy to have a one-on-one and do everything that I can to help you to the best of my
Well,
ability.
she says thank you and wishing you a great week ahead. So thank you as well, Swarya. So just before we go, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you
Mm.
squillion times. And just to a reminder for the next Thursday, next inspiring conversation will be with Marco Hoven. He's from Luxembourg, so I'm just like connecting all the dots in the world, and that will be on Thursday, the 19th of June, where we will talk about growth without losing yourself, a new blueprint for conscious leadership. And as I
Nice.
mentioned to people, like be curious, be interested, be inspired, and in your mentor's words, just ask. The only thing you can get, no, there is not that bad to get a no, because eventually you will get a yes. So
Well said. Thank you so much for having me. This has been a pleasure. And I hope everyone is inspired. I hope everyone is curious and interested and then takes this out to create connections and communication in a whole new way.
thank you.